So we'll start on this note. Hey,
All right.
everyone. Happy Tuesday. I hope you've had a great day. I got to have my 60-day sprint coaches call today. So if you're in the 56-day chiropractic boot camp to double your business, we start our next 60-day sprint here February the 6th. If you're not a boot camper and you want to know more about it, please send me a message. I'm happy to share with you. I started it just like God just kept nudging me before the pandemic started, and I put it into play, and boot campers loved it. And instead of practices nosediving, the most common side effect was practices doubled. And just continue to grow, even despite what the government kept throwing at all of us. And so we've brought it back every year. Last year we did it twice, and this year we'll do it twice again. Dr. Andrea, who is with me. Dr. Andrea, welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dr. Andrea has been in practice for how many years, Andrea?
March is 27 from graduation. Yeah, so a while.
Years. Her husband is also a chiropractor. Andrea, how many years have you been in practice?
I've been in, March will be 27 years for graduation.
27 years of practice. And Dr. Andrea still even does the 60-day sprints.
Certainly.
And really enjoys them. What do you love about them?
There's a lot of things I love. I like the camaraderie. Your team is just amazing. The coaches you pick are stellar. And I like that even after all these years, it's something for me to be held accountable for. It just reminds me about the little things that sometimes we forget about, just giving gratitude to your patients, or asking for testimonials, or writing thank you letters, or taking pictures, just things that, we kind of forget and we put by the wayside. But those are all actually, they're gratitude, they're loving, they show what's going on in your practice, and they keep you more accountable. I won't miss it. I'm doing it again. So
nice. I love that. It's the things that we do consistently that make such a difference, right? The things that we do consistently that aren't in alignment with our goals and where we want to go, that definitely makes a difference. Just like when we do things in a positive realm. And so actually this sprint, I'm really focusing on the vacation strategy, gratitude, and then the MD healthcare professional referral process, so that we just have these systems that are running all of the time to build retention, which is relationship plus education, and a consistent flow of our ideal new practice member, which typically is at the other end of a referral request. And kicking this off, or in the middle of the 60-day sprint, we have the Business Plus Boot Camp. And welcome back again as a speaker. Actually, Dr. Sheree Matusik, Dr. Andrea, and I did a PEDS boot camp summit live during COVID. And it's still at least one doctor that downloads that every month.
Oh wow.
From this long ago, which is super cool. And Dr. Sheree and Dr. Andrea did a really awesome job taking us all through an in-depth pediatric exam from infant on up to toddler. And I just heard again and again how useful that was. This year, Dr. Andrea is bringing us pregnancy. I can't even imagine how many pregnant mamas you've taken care of over 27 years. And you and I have talked about this several times in the last couple of years, how it's just so different what we're seeing now with pregnant mamas. What's one of the main things that you're noticing is different with pregnant mamas that you'll be talking about at the Business Plus Boot Camp at Sherman, February 23rd through the 25th?
Well, I think a lot of it is the inactivity that happened over the last few months. To be honest, I feel like if we can get these people moving a little bit more, the trajectory of their third and labor and their fourth trimester would be completely different. So I really, I teach a class at our birth center on optimal birth positioning. And I feel that we can empower the moms to do a lot more than they're doing. And I think that's one of the biggest things. You know, everybody went from staying at home. They're not going to the gym. They're not going to church. They're afraid to pick up their groceries. They didn't even walk in the grocery store. Because for those of you that know, I'm in a very blue state. I'm in Joe Biden state, and things were closed forever and ever here. So many people didn't move. And I think that played a big part on what we saw. I really do. With the hips and the SI joints, definitely a lot more sciatica, a lot more breech positioning, transverse positioning, more than I saw in the first 20 years of practice, definitely.
Wow. And will you be going over what you teach your practice members in the optimal birth positioning at the Business Plus Boot Camp?
I'm going to try to get through as much as I can in like a half an hour. Certainly I am. I'm going to throw up all over everybody, I think. How much can I get out in a half an hour, 20 minutes? But yes, a lot of my stuff will come from that. It'll come from, I'm a doula too, so it'll come from some of my doula training that I did through DONA. Some of it's through spinning babies. Some of it's through Birth Fit, because I'm a Birth Fit professional from years ago. So I did some of their DNS work. So a lot of it I just kind of threw all together to try to benefit the mamas the best we can, to how we can work on them and things we can add. Definitely the basis is Webster. You got to start with Webster. Webster needs to be your first and foremost. And then what else can you do to help them?
Nice. And for those of you who don't know, at the Business Plus Boot Camp, unlike most events, you get the replay for 60 days after. So you can join live or virtual. We highly encourage you to join us live and to participate as a VIP. The boot camp houses are full, so I don't have any more spaces in those. We're also doing the candlelight ceremony at the end of the event again this year, which was super fun last year. And so you can go back and watch all of this. Like Dr. Andrea said, like 27 years, like, blah, it's going to be coming out and there's going to be so much. But here's the other cool thing that we're doing differently this year, is that each speaker, and this is kind of why Andrea was saying it, each speaker has 30 minutes to speak, and then they're going to be going over the two main points, because of Miller's Law, the two main points and takeaways that they just presented about, that you can then are actionable steps from their talk. And then it's going to be opened up for question and answer. So you won't go back to your office on Monday morning, look at your notes and have a bunch of questions. You'll be able to get them answered right then and there from the person who's teaching it. So I'm really excited to have that as a difference this year in the Business Plus Boot Camp, unlike what we've done in the past. And so it's really, it's time we stop having smart computers and notebooks full of information. So I really want the boot camp events to be the change in our profession, where we all come together and share. I've always found it interesting how, so this event, we have a lot of speakers, but at many events, there are 10, 12, 15 speakers. And yet everyone in the audience has tons to share, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone in the audience is doing something in their practice. And so I'm really excited to foster a psychologically safe environment where everyone is sharing and everyone is participating and we're all pouring into one another's lives. Andrea, what do you love so much about boot camp events, and how do they differ from other chiropractic events that you attend?
I think that's a good question, because it's so diverse with people. We have young students, and then we have people who have been practicing 30 plus years. And then I find that when you put one of these things together, the spectrum can really interest so many different people. So you can learn about pregnancy, you can learn about cranial work from Sheree. I think we're talking about associates, and we're talking about how to grow your practice to, like Robin, $100,000 in a month. Like there's all these different things. So whether you're into doing sports, like is it Jessica's talking about something with sports? So we kind of have so many different things that you don't have to come just because you like pregnancy, or you don't have to come just because you see children. You can come and get your continuing ed. You can be sprinkled a little bit of these things that you might want to learn, but the topic that you really like, you can get into, dive deeper. So that's what I think with this one, it's going to be a home run. I think people are
Yeah.
going to get so much out of it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, between the interaction and even Doctors Raisha and Amanda are coming from Puerto Rico to be sharing with everyone, like, how do you have a successful practice in Puerto Rico? There are more and more doctors going over to Puerto Rico or going there, opening a practice and not really quite sure what to do. It is different than setting up a practice here. And I'm talking about mindset, of course, as well as the neurostorm that happens within a family, not only from practice members, but even us as providers. Like, what happens neurologically in our lives when we're going 100,000 miles an hour and aren't caring well for ourselves, and what does that look like when we come to the table with our practice members, and what impact does that have on our family and our well-being? So it is a wide spectrum. Lori Bent's been in practice 40 years. She's doing
Bless
kids
her
in
heart.
practice. And
You got Monica Berger too. I mean, that's a home run right there.
Yeah, Monica is speaking. We've got how to practice in a chiro dense population. If you've got a bunch of chiropractors around you, like, what are the ways to stand out? So no matter what you're up against in practice, I'm confident that you will leave with tools and strategies and support that will help you right where you're at. So as we wrap this up, Andrea, what about at boot camp events? I asked a boot camper recently, like, what's different about our events? And she's like, there's just so much nurturing that happens at boot camp events. What can you offer to somebody who's like, I've been to events before and people just kind of like buddy up and I'm left on my own? What can you offer as advice regarding boot camp events?
Well, I mean, I've been to hundreds of events over the years. So I just like the whole camaraderie. I feel bad if anybody feels left out. So if you're feeling like you're not included, come talk to me and I'll hang out with you, because I'll hang out with anybody. So, hopefully nobody feels left out, and we can include everybody and feel like, whether you're 23 or you're 53, you can have a place here and never feel like you're not part of a group or you can't get your questions answered. So I think the tribe is really strong. I think the boot camp is known for a really great tribe, that people support each other through, our 90 and 60-day sprints. They're not 90 anymore. They're 60. That are 60-day sprints. The teams really support each other, and the Facebook page and asking the questions. I just think the support is there. And you know what I noticed over the last year? The support is there for females, which it's always been there, but now we're getting a pretty strong male population too, which I find great because they bring a whole different level to practice for us.
Yeah. And that's something that's always been really near and dear to my heart. For those of you who don't know, when I started the boot camp back in 2017, my intention was to make sure that people always had a home. I was raised to be very inclusive and to bring people in and to let them know you matter and you're seen and you're of great value. And so that's not just something that we talk about in the boot camp. I'm extremely intentional. And the people that I have speaking and the people that I have on my team, that has to be something that is just a part of their DNA, that they want to wrap their arms around somebody or like, let's say you don't really know how to palpate a pediatric, cranial, like the cranial bones. Grab Dr. Andrea, grab Dr. Sheree. Like, I also love that we literally have, I think that boot campers are missing the judgment gene, which is so cool. And that's also been really intentional in reaching the male population of, hey guys, if you feel like you have a bunch of unanswered questions and it feels intimidating to be in maybe some male dominated groups, like come on in. Like we've got lots of love and we have lots of help and support. And even if you've been in practice for 35 years and you don't know how to do something, that's okay. The boot camp is the right space for you. And might as well get your questions answered and feel confident again and practice than to continue on one more day feeling less than the great servant and phenomenal entrepreneur that you are. So, Andrea, any final words to everyone who joined us today?
Well, just come join us, have fun, meet us all. We're going to have a good time. We're going to learn a lot. I like to learn. For any of you that have ever seen me or heard me, I continually do seminars. I'm in some deep immersion cranial work right now. I'm doing the Dr. Martin Rosen deep dive for 40 weeks with him. So I just think always learning is very important and it's good for our brain. So come learn with us and come hang out with us. And you'll be really impressed because, well, I hope I don't say this and embarrass you, but Dr. Barb's really good. She knows pretty much everybody's name. So she works really hard at making sure she knows people's names. And I'm impressed because I'm always like, how does she know every single person she's saying hi to? So hopefully you will feel that you are loved there because most people know each other, or if they don't, they'll get to know each other.
Yes. Yep. That's important. To all of you, have a wonderful evening. Dr. Andrea, I cannot wait to see you in just a few weeks. And God bless you all this evening. We'll catch you on February 23rd through the 25th at Sherman College.
You got it. Blessings. Good night.